Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams, and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Several states announced relaxations in activities in the first phase of nationwide unlock. Over 91,000 people have been cured from COVID-19. Reform in health and medical education given top priority by the government, says Prime Minister, lauds the role of frontline healthcare workers in fight against coronavirus. Delhi Chief Minister announces sealing of state borders for 1 week. Railways to ferry over 1,45,000 passengers by 200 special trains across the country today. Southwest monsoon hits Kerala coast today, and cyclone Nisarga to cross Mumbai by Wednesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that a nation like India has to have proper medical infrastructure and medical education infrastructure, and work is underway to ensure a medical college or postgraduate medical institute in every district of the country. Inaugurating the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Karnataka, through video conferencing today, Mr. Modi said during the last 6 years, the government has given topmost priority to reforms in the health and medical education.
Improvements on the supply side. A nation like ours has to have proper medical infrastructure and medical education infrastructure. Work is underway to ensure a medical college or postgraduate medical institute in every district of the country. The country has seen rapid progress, 22 more aims. Over the last 5 years, we have been able to add over 30,000 seats in MBBS and 15,000 seats in post-graduation.
The Prime Minister said Ayushman Bharat, the world's largest healthcare scheme, belongs to India, and in less than 2 years, 1 crore people have benefited from the scheme.
During the last 6 years, we in India, many initiatives in healthcare and medical education. We are broadly working on 4 pillars. The first is preventive healthcare. This includes the importance to yoga, Ayurveda, and general fitness. More than 40,000 wellness centers have been opened, where a key focus is on controlling lifestyle-related disease. The success of the Swachh Bharat mission, in less than 2 years, 1 crore people have benefited from this Ayushman Bharat scheme.
He said women and those staying in villages are among the major beneficiaries of this scheme. He also stressed on advances in telemedicine, Make in India in health sector, and IT-related tools for healthier societies.
At the root of India's brave fight against COVID-19 is the hard work of the medical community and our corona warriors. In fact, doctors and medical workers are like soldiers, but without the soldier's uniform. The virus may be an invisible enemy, but our corona warriors, medical workers, are invincible. In the battle of invisible versus invincible, our medical workers are sure to win.
Mr. Modi said at such a time the world is looking up to the doctors, nurses, medical staff and scientific community with hope and gratitude. He said the world seeks both care and cure from them. The Prime Minister said violence, abuse and rude behaviour against frontline workers is not acceptable. The Prime Minister also called upon healthcare professionals and academicians to focus on preventive and affordable healthcare. He said the world is facing the biggest crisis after the Second World War, and the hard work of medical community and corona warriors is appreciable. He informed that more than 40,000 health centres across the country are working on preventing lifestyle diseases, and 12 crore health-conscious people have downloaded the Arogya Setu mobile app in the country. He appreciated the efforts of the Karnataka state government in containing the pandemic.
The first phase of the nationwide unlock has started today. Unlock 1 will allow a phased reopening of most activities across India. The Centre on Saturday announced Unlock 1 guidelines, limiting the lockdown only to the containment zones. The government has also allowed unfettered movement of goods and persons between and within states. Several states have also released guidelines for the fifth phase of lockdown, or Unlock 1. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged people to be more alert and careful in the fight against COVID-19 as the country prepares to unlock. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Mr. Modi said, becoming careless or lackadaisical cannot be an option. He said as economic activities have resumed, social distancing has become even more important now. The Prime Minister said there should be no laxity and people should maintain 2 गज की दूरी, wearing face masks and stay at home to the extent possible.
इस बार बहुत कुछ खुल चुका है. श्रमिक स्पेशल ट्रेनें चल रही हैं. अन्य स्पेशल ट्रेनें भी शुरू हो गई हैं. तमाम सावधानियों के साथ हवाई जहाज उड़ने लगे हैं. धीरे धीरे उद्योग भी चलना शुरू हुआ है. यानी अर्थव्यवस्था का एक बड़ा हिस्सा अब चल पड़ा है, खुल गया है. ऐसे में हमें और ज्यादा सतर्क रहने की आवश्यकता है. 2 गज की दूरी का नियम हो, मुंह पर मास्क लगाने की बात हो सके तो वहां तक घर में रहना हो. ये सारी बातों का पालन, उसमें जरा भी ढिलाई नहीं बरतनी चाहिए.
The Prime Minister said after so many hardships, the country's deft handling of the situation should not go in vain. He said the road ahead is a long one and we are fighting a pandemic about which little was previously known. The Prime Minister hailed the spirit of service shown by the people and called it the biggest strength. He said Seva Parama Dharma, service is a joy in itself, is a way of life in India. Ahead of his virtual meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has shared pictures of samosas, saying he would have liked to share the popular snack with Mr. Modi. Replying to Mr. Morrison on Twitter, Prime Minister Modi said, the two countries are connected by the Indian Ocean, united by the Indian samosa. He said once we achieve a decisive victory against COVID-19, we will enjoy the samosas together. Mr. Modi said he's looking forward to the video meet on the 4th of June.
200 special trains are running across the country from today. These services are in addition to Shramik special trains and 30 special AC trains. The Railway Ministry said more than 1,45,000 passengers will travel on day one. Hyderabad, New Delhi, Telangana Express, Karnavati Express between Ahmedabad and Mumbai Central, Gomti Express from Lucknow, Kota, Hazrat Nizamuddin, Jan Shatabdi Express, Bengaluru, Hubli, Jan Shatabdi Express, Patna, Howrah, Jan Shatabdi Express, among others, have started operations so far. Around 26 lakh passengers have booked their tickets for advance reservation period 1st to 30th June. Our correspondent reports that there will be no unreserved coach in the train.
The passengers will have to reach the station 90 minutes in advance to facilitate thermal screening at the station. All passengers will be screened and only asymptomatic passengers will be allowed to board the train. Only passengers with confirmed and RC tickets will be allowed to enter the railway station and board the train. All passengers will have to wear face masks and observe social distancing during travel. On arrival at their destination, the travelling passengers will adhere to such health protocols as are prescribed by the destination state and union territories. No linen, blankets and curtains will be provided inside the train. Use of Arogya Setu app will be mandatory for all passengers. With Dipendra Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Railway officials said these are fully reserved trains having both AC and non-AC classes. General coaches have reserved sitting accommodation.
में सभी क्लासेस जो नॉर्मल ट्रेन में होते हैं वो उपलब्ध रहेंगे. एक ही अंतर है कि जो इसमें जनरल क्लास होता था, लोग उसमें अनरिजर्व टिकट लेके बैठ जाया करते थे, वो हमने क्रम कर दिया है. कोई भी अनरिजर्व टिकट हम नहीं देने वाले हैं, सिर्फ रिजर्व टिकट रहेगा. जनरल क्लासेस जो हैं उनको भी हम लिमिटेड रिजर्व टिकट ही हम देंगे. हर व्यक्ति को उसमें एक सीट नंबर अलॉट किया जाएगा और उस सीट पे वो बैठ के जा सकता है. जितने लोगों को अलाउ किया जाएगा उतने ही लोग जाएंगे, किसी भी तरह की भीड़ उसमें नहीं होगी. और उसका जो किराया है वो सेकंड क्लास सीटिंग का जो 2S बोलते हैं उसका किराया चार्ज होगा.
Online booking of tickets for these trains is being done through IRCTC website or through mobile app. Railways has also allowed booking of reservation tickets through the reservation counters, common service centres and ticketing agents. Booking of Tatkal ticket can be done from 29th June for journey date 30th June and onwards. Talking to AIR News, Northern Railway PRO Deepak Kumar said,
ये 200 ट्रेन में से ये तो पूरे भारत में 200 ट्रेन चल रही हैं, लेकिन इन 200 में से 50 ट्रेन यानी 50 पेयर ऑफ ट्रेन मीन 100 ट्रेन जो है टर्मिनेट होगी दिल्ली एरिया में डिफरेंट स्टेशन के ऊपर और करीब 18 ट्रेन ऐसी हैं जो कि पासिंग होगी। तो इसमें से करीब 118 ट्रेन ऐसी हैं जो दिल्ली के अलग अलग स्टेशन के ऊपर यहाँ ओरिजिनेट हो रही हैं, यहाँ पास कर रही है। देखिए एक ट्रेन में लगभग अगर ये कंपोजिशन देखा जाए क्योंकि हर ट्रेन का अलग कंपोजिशन है, उसमें एसी कोचेज भी हैं, AC2 फर्स्ट एसी, सेकंड एसी और नॉन एसी कोचेज हैं। करीबन अगर देखा जाए तो इसमें करीब 1200 लोग जो है वो ट्रेवल करते हैं।
The first train among 200 special trains departs from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, Mumbai for Uttar Pradesh. As an important step in the graded restoration of passenger train services, the Indian Railways started 200 trains today in addition to the existing Shramik special trains, which are being run with effect from May the 1st and special AC trains, 30 in number, being run since May the 12th. According to Railways, Mahanagari Express, the first train among 200 special trains, departed on Monday from Mumbai to Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. Railways have instructed the passengers to observe social distancing both at the station and on trains. On arrival at their destination, the travelling passengers will have to adhere to such health protocols as are described by the destination state or union territory. Zonal railways have been instructed to ensure that there are separate entry and exit gates at railway stations to the extent feasible so that there is no face-to-face movement of passengers. The Intermeteorological Department IMD today said that the low-pressure area developing over the Arabian Sea is likely to intensify into a severe cyclone and cross the North Maharashtra and South Gujarat coasts on June the 3rd. It stated that the cyclone will have an impact on state capital Mumbai when it crosses Maharashtra. More in this report.
According to the Cyclone Warning Division of Indian Meteorological Department, the depression building in the Arabian Sea will intensify into a deep depression in the third and fourth stage of any cyclone formation by this evening. It will intensify into a cyclonic storm by June 2. The IMD said the storm is very likely to move nearly northward initially till June 2 morning and recurve northern eastward and cross North Maharashtra and South Gujarat coast between Harihareshwar in Raigad in Maharashtra and Daman during night of June 3. When it crosses the coast on the evening of June 3, it will have a speed of 105 to 1110 km per hour. Nivedita, AIR News, Mumbai.
Southwest monsoon arrives in Kerala. The state witnessed widespread rain. A report.
As rain continues across the state, yellow alert is issued in 9 districts in southern and central Kerala. Meanwhile, the Met Department informs that the depression in the Arabian Sea is likely to intensify in the next 48 hours into a cyclonic storm. Owing to this, Kerala and Lakshadweep coast will be witnessing heavy rain, rough sea and storm. Warning is being issued to fisher folks not to venture into the sea. Meanwhile, under Vande Bharat mission, 10 flights carrying expatriates will be arriving in Kerala today from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Kuwait, Bahrain and Muscat. Mayusha for AIR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
The southwest monsoon has hit the coast of Kerala today. Talking to AIR News, Director General, India Meteorological Department, Mrityunjay Mahapatra informed this. He said in the past 2 days, widespread rainfall activities have been witnessed in Kerala.
Southwest monsoon has set in over Kerala today, that is on 1st June, coinciding with its normal date. If you look at during past 2 days, there has been widespread rainfall activity over Kerala, and today there has been heavy to very heavy rainfall some places in Kerala. And also there is a persistence in cloudiness over the region, and strong westerly to southwesterly winds are prevailing over South Arabian Sea near Kerala coast, and is extending up to a height of about 4 to 5 kilometers. All these favorable conditions were utilized to declare monsoon onset over Kerala today.
The number of patients affected by COVID-19 in the country has climbed to 1,90,535, while the death toll rose to 5,394. Health Ministry data given this morning said the number of active cases of COVID-19 stood at 93,322. As many as 91,819 people have been cured. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Several states announced relaxations in activities in the first phase of nationwide unlock. Over 91,000 people have been cured from COVID-19. Reform in health and medical education given top priority by the government, says Prime Minister, lauds the role of frontline healthcare workers in fight against coronavirus. Delhi Chief Minister announces sealing of state borders for 1 week. Railways to ferry over 1,45,000 passengers by 200 special trains across the country today. Southwest monsoon hits Kerala coast today. And cyclone Nisarga to cross Mumbai by Wednesday. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The centre has taken a number of measures to help farmers deal with the loss they had to suffer because of corona pandemic. A sum of 2 lakh crore rupees has been allocated to provide concessional credit through Kisan Credit Card. A total of 2,000 rupees per month is also being provided under PM Kisan Yojana. In order to strengthen farm gate infrastructure, a scheme worth 1 lakh crore rupees has been started to strengthen cold storage chain. A report.
Agriculture market reforms have been carried out to provide better market option. Farmers can now sell their crops anywhere and avail better prices. Essential Commodities Act, APMC Act, Mandi Act have been amended to offer better price to farmers. A scheme worth 10,000 crore rupees has been dedicated to over 2 lakh unorganized micro food processing enterprises, which will help them in establishing their own brand. For the fishermen, a scheme worth 20,000 crore rupees has been allowed as part of the PM Matsya Sampada Yojana. This will give an unprecedented boost to inland and marine fisheries. For the animal husbandry farmers, a total of 15,000 crore rupees has been allocated to rejuvenate the animal husbandry sector. Suparna Sekya, AIR News, Delhi.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Naresh Gupta, senior physician from Maulana Azad Medical College, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1800115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. In our series, Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Dr. S. Rajeshwari, Department of Anesthesiology, AIMS, has advised people to stay at home and maintain hand hygiene.
We have seen that there is a severe shortage of ICU facilities in the most developed of countries. And in order that we do not face the same calamity in our country, it is vital that we do not stress the health system by becoming more sick and bringing more patients. And for this, I urge that you must stay at home and must maintain hand hygiene to reduce the number of patients coming into the hospital.
Dr. Purva Mathur, Professor Lab Medicine, AIMS, has said that social distancing is very important to check the spread of the virus.
The coronavirus spreads by droplets when a person coughs or sneezes. These droplets do not travel beyond 1 meter, and that is why it's important to maintain social distancing.
Government today dismissed claim on social media that CBSE has directed schools to conduct online exam by purchasing an app developed by V8 Softwares and appointed Dr. Sahil Gehlot as OSD for this. In a tweet, Press Information Bureau has termed it as fake and misleading. It said that CBSE neither endorsed this nor has appointed any OSD for this purpose. In Jammu and Kashmir, an upward trend in the number of COVID-19 cases have been reported, particularly in the Kashmir division. The Union Territory Administration is making all-out efforts to prevent the spread of the contagious pandemic by issuing the advisories for the public from time to time. More from a Srinagar correspondent.
The total number of novel coronavirus cases in Jammu and Kashmir has now risen to 2,446 after 105 more positive cases were reported yesterday. The new cases include 17 pregnant women, 10 from Baramulla district and a nursing assistant from Chest Diseases Hospital in Srinagar. Out of these new cases of the pandemic, 90 are from Kashmir and 15 from Jammu. Meanwhile, keeping in view of the surge in the number of positive cases in the Union Territory, government advisory has urged the people not to step out of their homes unless necessary. If it is important to move out for unavoidable reasons. Wearing a mask and to maintain social distancing norms, personal hygiene and frequent hand washing with soap and water need to be ensured. Sunil Kohl for AR News from Srinagar.
In Uttar Pradesh, normal activities have started in the state again with adherence to the social distancing norms. However, restrictions are still in force at Delhi border in Gautam Budh Nagar and Ghaziabad districts, while inter-district movement has started in the state. The state government had yesterday issued new guidelines regarding the first stage of lifting of restrictions defined under the lockdown.
First time after the starting of lockdown, in all offices, work started with maximum attendance. As per the new guidelines, 100% attendance of staff would be allowed, but it has been divided in 3 shifts. The 3 time slots are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. After getting the permission to open markets from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., a lot of movement was seen on roads and shopping areas. UP State Road Transport Corporation Limited, UPSRTC bus service started from different bus stations with the thermal scanning facility for passengers. Keeping in view the danger of spread of coronavirus from Delhi, District Administration of Gautam Budh Nagar, Noida and Ghaziabad have decided to continue the restrictions on movement from Delhi border. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The Delhi government has decided to open barber shops and salons in the national capital. However, spas will remain closed. Addressing an online media briefing, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal said all shops and markets will be permitted to open in the city. He announced to seal Delhi's borders for 1 week. People engaged in essential services having passes will be allowed. He said the decision will be taken after 1 week to open the borders after getting suggestions from people. He said, as per the centre's guidelines, there will be restrictions on movement from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Mr. Kejriwal also said now the city government is lifting the restrictions on the number of passengers travelling in autos, e-rickshaws and other vehicles. He said there is no shortage of beds in hospitals in Delhi.
In Assam, the advisory committee under Subhash Das to revive the state's economy has submitted its report to Chief Minister Sarvananda Sonowal in Guwahati today. The committee has recommended both short and long-term measures to revive the economy of Assam being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Chief Minister set up the 8-member committee under retired IAS officer Subhash Das to recommend measures in a bid to revive the economic conditions. Under first phase of the nationwide unlock, there is no need for any type of pass for vehicles going in and out of Madhya Pradesh. Hence, the pass checking system has been abolished from today. Interstate buses will not be operated throughout the state till June 7th. However, buses are allowed to operate in Indore, Ujjain and Bhopal divisions for the transportation of workers engaged in the operation of the factory and construction work.
According to the official press release, buses of State Transport Corporation can operate within the state with 50% capacity in all other divisions except Indore, Ujjain and Bhopal. 1/4 of the shops in the urban areas of Indore, Ujjain, Neemach and Burhanpur have been opened in turn by turn, while 1/3 of shops in Bhopal's markets have also been opened in turn. Apart from these, there is no restriction on opening of shops in the rest of the state. All government and private offices have been opened in Indore, Ujjain and Bhopal municipal corporation areas with 50% employees and in rest of the state with full capacity from today. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan informed that religious places, public places, hotels, restaurants, shopping mall will start outside the containment areas from June 8. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, security forces busted a terrorist hideout in Kulgam district of South Kashmir yesterday and recovered a number of items including ammunition. Police said that on receiving information about presence of terrorists in Akhal Malwan forest belt of South Kashmir district, a cordon and search operation was launched by security forces. During the searches, a terrorist hideout was busted in the forest area. A case has been registered in this regard and investigation initiated to establish the full circumstances pertaining to the hideout. The evacuation of Indian nationals from Bangladesh under the Vande Bharat mission continued with another flight leaving for Kolkata with 165 stranded Indian citizens in Bangladesh today. A total of 169 passengers had registered, but finally only 165 people boarded the evacuation flight, which departed from Dhaka to Kolkata around noon. This was the third evacuation flight from Dhaka to Kolkata. Earlier, one flight each had left for Kolkata on the 18th and 27th of May from Dhaka. Earlier, a batch of 230 Indians had left for Tripura, Assam, Manipur and Meghalaya on the 28th of May from the land route in Bangladesh. High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Riva Ganguly Das, had gone to the Akhora border to see off the stranded Indians leaving for Agartala. Till now, more than 1,800 people have been evacuated from Dhaka under the Vande Bharat mission on 10 flights operating from Dhaka. A few other chartered flights have also been facilitated by the Indian High Commission in Dhaka to evacuate Indian citizens stranded in Bangladesh in the wake of corona pandemic and subsequent disruption of international travel. The evacuation of Indian citizens from Bangladesh started on the 8th of May with 168 medical students stranded in Bangladesh leaving for Srinagar. Till now, 4 flights have left for Srinagar, 3 for Kolkata and 1 each for Delhi, Chennai and Mumbai. Apart from these, 1 flight of Biman Bangla carried 70 Indian nationals to Delhi and another chartered flight left for Bodh Gaya from Dhaka with 170 passengers.
News just in, the India Meteorological Department IMD said that the well-marked low-pressure area of the southeast and adjoining east-central Arabian Sea and Lakshadweep area has concentrated into a depression this morning. The Weather Department stated that the low-pressure area is located about 370 kilometers southwest of Panjim, 690 kilometers southwest of Mumbai and 920 kilometers south-southwest of Surat. The depression is likely to intensify into a deep depression over the next 12 hours and a severe cyclonic storm called Nisarga by Wednesday. It stated that cyclone Nisarga will cross very close to the Mumbai coast while entering the land. Meanwhile, Maharashtra and Gujarat are on a pre-cyclone alert as very heavy to extremely heavy rainfall is expected in parts of the states on Wednesday and Thursday. According to IMD forecasts, initially, Nisarga is likely to move towards northwards till Tuesday morning and then recurve north-northeastwards and cross North Maharashtra and South Gujarat coast between Harihareshwar, Raigarh, Maharashtra and the Union Territory of Daman on Wednesday evening. The IMD also said that when it crosses the coast as a severe cyclonic storm, it will have a wind speed of 105 to 115 km per hour, gusting up to 125 km per hour. Very heavy to extremely heavy rain is expected in Konkan, Goa, parts of Maharashtra and Gujarat till Thursday.
Music composer, director and singer Wajid Khan died due to COVID-19 last night. The 42-year-old music composer, who was also suffering from kidney ailments and had undergone a kidney transplant a few months ago, he was rushed to a hospital in Mumbai's Chembur after his condition deteriorated. Wajid Khan of the famous Sajid Wajid music composer duo composed most of the songs of actor Salman Khan's movies. His colleagues from the film industry expressed grief over his death. Violence has erupted in cities all over U.S. during protests sparked by the death in police custody of African-American George Floyd. People took to the streets for the 6th day in a row, and curfews have been imposed in nearly 40 cities. Riot police clashed with protesters in New York, Chicago, Philadelphia and Los Angeles, firing tear gas and pepper bullets to try to disperse the crowds. Police vehicles were set on fire and shops were looted in several cities. Large-scale protests also took place in Atlanta, Boston, Miami and Oklahoma City. The unrest initially began in Minneapolis in Minnesota, but has now spread across the country with reports of violence coming in from across major cities including Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Houston, Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. The police fired tear gas near the White House on Sunday night to dissuade protesters who had smashed the windows of prominent buildings, overturned cars and set fires. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital, Delhi, witnessed a minimum temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and maximum of 38 degrees with partly cloudy sky and possibility of development of thunder and lightning. In the south, Chennai will see a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 29 and 39 degrees Celsius. In Srinagar, minimum temperature was 11 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 21 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, temperature will hover between 13 and 25 degrees. In Muzaffarabad, there will be partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain, thunderstorm or dust storm. And now, before we end the bulletin, here are the headlines once again. Several states announced relaxations in activities in the first phase of nationwide unlock. Over 91,000 people have been cured from COVID-19. Reform in health and medical education given top priority by government, says Prime Minister. Lauds the role of frontline healthcare workers in fight against coronavirus. Delhi Chief Minister announces sealing of state borders for 1 week. Railways to ferry over 1,45,000 passengers by 200 special trains across the country today. Southwest monsoon hits Kerala coast and cyclone Nisarga to cross Mumbai by Wednesday. And with that, we end the midday news.